Every medicine cabinet needs NasalCEASE. It's the quickest and most convenient way to stop bleeding, nosebleeds, and topical bleeding from cuts and skin puncture wounds. NasalCEASE is non-irritating, painless, easy to use, and safe for all ages. Next time you get a nosebleed, regardless of the cause, simply insert NasalCEASE into your nose to stop the bleeding fast. For difficult-to-control topical bleeding, simply apply NasalCEASE to the wound, apply pressure for a minute, and secure it with a Band-Aid or tape. Shaving cuts, kitchen cuts, paper cuts, cuts you get while working around the home, cuts from sports injuries, and kids just playing around. We all get them. Now you won't have to bleed through several Band-Aids. Now there's NasalCEASE. For nosebleeds or topical cuts, NasalCEASE stops the bleeding fast, so you can quickly get back to what you were doing.
My patients generally tell me that they like NasalCEASE, and it helps to give them confidence that they're going to be able to function without having as much risk for recurrence of their nosebleeds. I think NasalCEASE has definitely saved some of my patients' trips to the emergency room.
I see this a lot in wrestling, with the kids constantly jarring their head and their noses together, and if somebody gets hurt or they have a nosebleed, the NasalCEASE seems to stop it much faster.
NasalCEASE is made of calcium alginate, a 100% natural biopolymer that absorbs up to 20 times its weight in blood. NasalCEASE releases calcium, a coagulant, which quickly stops the bleeding. NasalCEASE doesn't stick to or tear new clots or tear the wound, so there's no chance of rebleeds. NasalCEASE is the ideal treatment for bleeding problems commonly found in people taking blood thinners and for those people with blood clotting disorders, such as hemophilia, von Willebrand disease, and HHT. NasalCEASE also works great for nosebleeds or topical bleeding that occurs as a result of nasal allergies, oncology therapy, pregnancy, dry or high-altitude climates, flying, sports, and life's everyday issues.
I've been taking blood thinners for nearly 5 years, both Coumadin and a baby aspirin each day. About 2 years ago, I started getting nosebleeds. It could happen anytime, any place, without any warning. It got to a point where I was afraid to go out. Then the doctor recommended NasalCEASE. It works great. Being on blood thinners, I find that I bruise and cut pretty easily. Then I have a hard time stopping the bleeding. But thanks to NasalCEASE, the bleeding stops quickly. I need blood thinners for my heart health, and I need NasalCEASE to stop the bleeding. I'd never go anywhere without my NasalCEASE.
Both my teenage son and I suffer from severe allergies. Due to the allergies and the medications that we take to treat them, we both suffer from periodic nosebleeds. My allergist recommended NasalCEASE. It's very easy to use and it stops the bleeding fast. It also stops the embarrassment of all the pinching, the Kleenex, and all the mess. I recently nicked my finger in the kitchen cutting tomatoes. I put on NasalCEASE and it stopped the bleeding fast. It worked beautifully. I went back to slicing tomatoes. Thanks, NasalCEASE.
NasalCEASE is available at more than 30,000 pharmacies nationwide. For more information, money-saving coupons, and promotional offers, visit NasalCEASE.com or call 1-800-650-NOSE 6673 for a free sample. NasalCEASE, the quickest, most convenient way to stop bleeding.